There we Good morning, everybody. Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner 2018, Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. It is October 30th, second last day of October 2023. Halloween, if you celebrate it, is tomorrow night, but I am here. I'm not spooky. I'm calm, cool, and collective. What's going on, Ryan Knight?
Yeah, good to see you, Dr. Vibe. And for those that don't know who Ryan Knight is, I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in and help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. And I'm an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide waterless mobile car cleaning. So we go to people's houses, their offices, clean their cars on the spot without water, and our eco-friendly plant-based cleaning supplies. And we're doing our final push for fall. So if you want to get that car cleaned up before the winter, definitely give us a shout. Go to our website, detailingnights.ca.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. Good to have people already in this morning. As always, we have a Monday tradition. This episode of the Morning Vibe is sponsored by the Macmillan Group, providing mortgage solutions one client at a time since 1999, buying, refinancing, or selling. The Macmillan Group, Canada 905-813-4354, US 904-586-5836. That is a Monday morning tradition, and this is also a Monday morning tradition coming up. You can contact them at, there's a Canada-US numbers, also toll-free number, 866-883-0885. Website, the Macmillan Group Inc., INC, that is, not INK.com, and then email raycmcmillan@gmail.com. So what is going on, Mr. Ryan Knight? What's going on today?
Today is a bit of a celebration. So we're doing the grand prize giveaway of $500 for our ACBN grant contest. So at the end of the show, we'll pull it up and click the button to do the draw. And then we'll also be announcing additional winners of subsequent prizes like marketing help. We have some gift cards to restaurants. So we're going to be doing those giveaways throughout the week. But the grand prize draw is later today. So if you did see our Instagram post or you saw our LinkedIn post and you signed up, definitely stick around to see if you won the $500.
Wow. How come I didn't get allowed to be in that?
You got to follow us on Instagram. Post it there. But I think you're less than an arm's length away from, I don't know if you can actually win the contest. I'll check the terms and conditions. But yes.
So what was the weekend like?
The weekend, what happened on the weekend? Yeah, I took the children, Jazz and her cousin, to see the Barbie movie, which was it had its elements of kid stuff and elements of adult stuff. So it was like, had an interesting conversation, and we actually didn't get a chance to go to the Help a Girl Out Gala. But did get to tune in to the Walnut Foundation, their conference. So that was great on Saturday.
Yes, that was very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to be reaching out to one or two people on that panel.
Right. I mean, very, very technical panel. Like the speakers.
Very, very technical panel.
So yes. But the kiddos weren't feeling too well, so we ended up not going out in the evening. But yeah, it was a cool, relaxing Sunday. Was relaxing. Got to just hang out with the kids, go to the park for a bit, and get some Halloween decorations. We'll put those up today. But yeah, taking it easy. How about yourself?
Well, just before we get to myself, wow, whole pile of people already in the room this morning. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Please say hello in the comment section. Tell us where you're chiming in from. We'll give a shout out. How many people still celebrate Halloween?
I would think it's a good percentage. I don't think it's, I mean, how much people go all out and go to parties. I'd be interested for that, but I'm pretty sure kids still like free candy. That can't get old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They want that sugar fix that the parents got to deal with, right?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of
Wow.
which, I'm on the last day of the 5-day fast.
Yes.
So
Let's hear
gotta
how
do,
it's
actually, I didn't
going.
do my breakfast juice yet, so I'll do that after the
Uh-oh.
show. But
Uh-oh.
yeah,
Uh-oh. How is your well, actually, I finished my 3-day detox on Saturday, and it's interesting. I just out of curiosity took my weight this
okay,
weekend,
right.
and it looks like I've lost 10 pounds.
Okay. And you started work with Carolyn for what, about a month now? Or
Yeah,
about a month? Right,
yeah,
right,
about a
right.
month. I've lost 10 pounds.
See, and those are the pounds that were just lingering, like
Well, there's a lot more to
unneeded.
linger. It's a
Right?
lot more than lingering. That's a start. That's okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So there is a whole pile of people on here. So
Hey, good to
let's
see
get
you.
some shout outs. We have Fitness IQ Cam, otherwise known as KSEYLRW. FQ is in the house. She goes, okay. She goes, I'll be sticking around. Maybe she's in the contest.
Good stuff. Good
and
stuff.
and she's saying because you never look on IG and LinkedIn. She's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
talking about me. I do look, but I got things to do. Okay. Hey, thanks. Shout out Neil Silvert. Thank you. First
Hey,
time.
good to see
Make
you,
sure
Neil.
wherever you are, you follow the show on whatever. Okay. Shanna K. Hall goes, I didn't know about the ACBN contest.
Hey, see,
Oh,
that's why ACBN, we put up a poll actually first asking what would you do with $500 to boost your business. So out of that engagement, we said, okay, let's put out a $500 contest. So it's been up for the whole month. So now,
wow.
yes, it's been up.
Wow. Well, and Shaneke Hall, thank you. I didn't get a chance to read out on Friday's show, but we did talk about, I think, post show about your suggestion of putting some of these up audio wise. And that's a really interesting thought because I've thought about it periodically. And you know what? I haven't made the time to do it. I really wanted to make the replays available video wise to drive the YouTube traffic, but I'd love if you want, I don't know, you'll see my email address at the after. I'd love to get your input a little bit more on having audio versions of the morning vibe up. So I'm glad you're on now. I didn't want to forget you. I felt bad because Friday was, I can't even remember who we had on Friday. Oh, Walnut Foundation. Yeah,
Yes,
we had them
Anthony.
on Friday. And I said, oh, I feel so bad. I didn't get a chance to shout you out. So Shenike, yeah, if you my email address, you'll see, or go through one of the shows and you'll see it at the end of one of the shows, any of the shows I do. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that. So Fitness Cam goes, I'm only there for the candy. You just finished a 3-day detox and now you want to be there for the candy?
But that's where
Mm.
you start craving the stuff. But yeah. And I remember I was at Woodbine Mall and walking through the food court, like, why am I torturing myself right now? But it's wild. But you know what really stuck out? Watching people waste food. And my kids, last
Ah.
night, my son tried to throw away half a burrito. I was like, listen, brother, you are eating that whole thing. Like, this ain't no joke no more. So
Well,
I can't stand seeing that.
it leads to a very interesting story. Many years ago, when I first started this out, and I did have hair, by the way, I went and visited a gentleman who was a waiter at the Underground Railroad restaurant in Toronto, and back in the I think 1950s or 60s. And it was
Okay.
an amazing conversation. I got to see if it's still up. I think it's still up on my platform. I think. And we were chatting, and one of the well, first of all, just he was alive was amazing.
Right.
Second of all, which one should I say? Okay. So I said, like we were talking about the business of restaurants and all that. And I said, sir, how do you know if a restaurant's making money? He said, by the amount of food they throw out.
Uh-oh. So if they throw out a lot, they are, or if they throw out
They're
not a
they're
lot.
they're they're not running their restaurant properly. And I
Ah,
still see that in today. Like one of the few things I
right,
watch on a
right.
regular amount on TV is food shows, and especially some of the restaurant reality shows like Kitchen Nightmares, especially
Big
Kitchen
fan of that
Nightmares
one.
with
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, and how much food serves and how much, especially it's not. And again, people have different appetites, but from what I hear from restaurateur language, especially his level, that if people do take home stuff, like if they're eating in and they're taking home stuff, you're serving too
The
much.
portion sizes are too much.
The portion sizes. That's
Oh,
very,
okay.
but again, if a restaurant's throwing out food or a
Yeah,
grocery store is
that's
throwing
a
out
waste.
food, that's gone money,
Yes, yes, yes.
right? That you're throwing that
Nobody's like
money.
managing it to keep on top of it.
And that's actually interesting. My next door neighbor, I don't know if I've mentioned before, but he works in the food industry. He's actually been working in the grocery industry for at least 30 years.
Mm.
And we chat a lot. And one day we were chatting. He's sitting on his veranda. I'm sitting on mine, so we're chatting back and forth across the hedge there. And we talked about. Remember, there used to be like all the food that they don't sell. What happens to it? Now, there used to be a time where they used to give it to food banks, but now
Mhm.
they're very leery, grocery chains are leery about doing that because if someone gets sick from the food that they gave, they could be liable.
Oh boy. So that slowed down the giving.
So that may be another reason um, why there's increased numbers of food banks, especially in this country. I've heard a huge rise in food banks in this country.
Yeah,
So
and the use of food banks has gone
oh, it's
through the roof.
huge,
Yeah.
huge, and it's only probably going to get crazier. So, who said I did 5 days? Are you talking about
Oh, her
myself or Ryan? I
detox.
only did, I only did 3. I didn't do
I think
5.
Camille did 5.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
All right. I see you, Mimi. Good morning. I see you, Mimi, and excellent. And congratulations, Shirley. Good morning. Actually, congratulations, Shirley. I read, people don't think I go on these things. You are now a contributor for what's the name of the organization in the US? Podcasting Association. I don't want to say because I'll get it wrong, but if you can put in the chat, I saw that. I gave you a congratulations. She's a contributor to a monthly newsletter to one of the major Black podcast organizations in the US.
Okay, wonderful.
So that's good. Opal inspired. Good morning, everyone. Wow, I love this. There's just a lot of people right off the bat. I didn't get a chance to do this, so let's do this. Please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. Hit the notification button. Also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, wherever Ryan is on social media, please follow him also.
And take a pause right now to like the show as you are watching.
Yes.
That helps spread it out even more.
Yes.
Yes.
To advertise your business, product, or service on the show, please email me. So, Shanike, there's my email address. So you can email me. We can have a conversation about the audio versions of the show, and also join the Morning Vibe Discord group by emailing me also. Let's see what is up.
Oh, but if it's going to be audio, you have to say the email. What's your email address?
I'm not doing audio right. Well, I won't start saying. Well, the thing is, in the description of the audio,
Yes.
the email address will be there.
All right.
All right. So,
fair enough.
Okay. So, Fitness IQ Cam goes, no. Portion size is lovely. LOL. Me love leftovers.
All right. Yes.
Well, you know what's interesting with the meals? Actually, I made another thing today. I made chia seed pudding today.
Okay.
So I had my fruit and chia seed pudding for breakfast. Frequency event promotions. We'll get our special friend on him. He's chuckling away in the back in the green room. Greetings. I wonder if restaurants throw out food if they're able to claim this food as expense? Curious. Good question. I can find that out. That's a very good question. All
Well, the
right.
initial expense would be when they purchase the food. The fact that they didn't use it is not an additional expense.
Okay, absolutely not, Ryan. I did 3
Oh, she
days.
did 5.
She,
Oh,
yeah,
I did
she.
5. Yeah, today's
You
my
did
5th day.
what?
Yeah, today's the 5th day.
What?
So
I thought you only did 3.
listen, at the 3rd day, I'm like, why didn't I only do 3? Why am I doing 5?
What?
Yeah.
What?
So
You did 5
this is
days?
the 5th day.
Like I did 2 threes, 5.
Uh,
And that's like a group. That's like a group in the I think back in the 80s called Extreme. That's
right.
extreme. Okay, I will email you. Thank you, Shanna K. Looking forward to that. Fitness IQ is about to make quinoa porridge. Yes.
Okay, good stuff.
I've made millet porridge. That is work. Wonderful. Good morning to Roger Dundas.
And I was just about to say, Roger Dundas talks about portion sizes when restaurants are doing the
Yeah.
5-pack restaurant week.
Okay, Roger, as always, good morning to you, Camille, and your wonderful 2 children. The publisher of BuyBlacks.com, Black Canada's #1 online news magazine. Wonderful. Roger, we have a question here. Maybe you can answer it. Frequency Event Promotions is asking, greeting, I wonder if restaurants throw out food, are they able to claim it as an expense? I don't think they are. I don't think they are. And okay, the food revolution continues. So Fitness IQ goes, millet was sold out at my bulk barn. Okay, well you went quinoa. All right, so they had both. Great. So the food revolution is on. We got a pile of people in the house. So I wanted to shout you all out, but the main man is here for today. Excuse me, last Monday of each month. I have David Archer here. Now we were supposed to do a mock session with a client, which we won't be able to do today because I'll say Ryan logged into it. We needed to prep for it, so we're not going to do that today. But David is still going to be here. He's going to be talking about his latest book that he's writing. The man's written 5 books. Like when he first came on, he just released his 4th. Now he's already releasing his 5th book.
Okay, nice.
So this guy is just a publishing machine. So welcome the publishing machine to the morning vibe. You have yourself on mute, so you got to take yourself off mute. So now you got to be the podcast show machine. You got to take yourself off mute. Fantastic. There we go.
Fantastic.
Good morning, Mr. Archer. How are you?
I am blessed and doing my best.
I got it. Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
You said that before. I'm going to type that down right now. I am.
You can flip it for the audio version and just replay
it. Hey, we still got to get you. Still got you to do. We got to get you to do an intro for this.
Yes,
of course.
Yes. But I got to do that my best. I like that. I am blessed and doing my best. All right, fantastic. So, what has been going on since you've been with us last, sir?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, a lot has been going on. I'm a person that watches like independent news and because just to introduce myself to those who don't know, my name's David Archer. I'm an anti-racist psychotherapist from Montreal, Canada. I'm also a speaker. I'm also an author. As Dr. Vibe was saying, I'm on my 500th book. No, just on my 5th one right now. The reason why I write, though, is because I'm very interested in how to solve these problems that we encounter so that they don't impact the next generation. And I'm very interested in how do we solve this problem of anti-Black racism. And as a person who works in a therapy context, I oftentimes see people that present with things that are unsolvable. And my job is to find out a way of making it so that it is solvable, so that people can live their best and that they can recognize their awesomeness. So when you ask me how I'm doing, I got to ask the world, yo, how's the world doing? Because it's like I watch the news and I'm seeing bombs being dropped, even in, what's it called, in Quebec. There's this thing where they're doubling the price of tuition for English. So you heard about that?
Wow.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the way how I'm doing usually is a reflection of the people that I'm in contact with. And so my clients come and present these issues, and that's why I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak, because then I get to kind of let people know what the people on the ground are experiencing. And so I have clients that are Middle Eastern. I have clients who are Anglophone, Francophone, Black, Jamaican. I have clients from all over because that's what Montreal is. And so there's a lot of like stress that people are feeling. So that's why today I wanted to see if it would have been possible to just show some techniques to kind of put down some of the stress. If people want to feel that like calm, relaxing meditation, we can do that if you're open to it. But also just to reassure people of letting everyone know that even though things are difficult, we've been in difficult situations, and as humans, it's our ability to adapt and to recover. And we need to just make sure that we know that there is no such thing as an unsolvable problem. That's my intro.
Okay. Before, there's a lot to peel from that. So before we go for it now, I want to make sure we address you. Are you an anti-racist or anti-Black psychotherapist?
Anti-Black would mean that I'm a therapist that has a white pointed hat and a Ku Klux Klan therapist. I'm not a Ku Klux Klan therapist. I'm not an anti-Black therapist. I'm an anti-racist therapist, meaning that the structure of racism, what racism is it means that because of a person's identity that the society has created for them, this arbitrary marker means that some people are going to be treated better than other people, or some people will be treated worse than other people. And so I hope that explains it. And Dr. Vibe, we've spoken about this 2 times before. I hope you know this is what I do.
I know, and I misquoted right from the thought, because what I said was absolutely wrong. So but you know what? I said no problem. But the reason why I wanted to get it clear is because I wanted to refer you properly on screen in the lower third.
Yes. Not an anti. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, so I'm going. That's a huge faux pas. Look at this. Okay, so there's so comments are coming here. We'll get to the food stuff later on. Okay, hold on. Hayden Morrison, OMG, The Voice. Joy says, I start my 5-day on Thursday, Ryan. You're my inspiration.
Let's go. Hey. Lean into it.
Samantha Crosley, good morning, beautiful people. Good morning back. Wherever you're watching this, please like, follow, share. Look at this. Looking for voice personalities. Can we hire David, the voice archer, for some projects coming up?
Right.
Contact him. I'm not, unless he wants me to. I could be his agent if he wants me to be.
Right.
He'll contact me. Let me know while going.
All right.
So frequency of emotions, you're second in line. Just remember that. You're second in line. Just as long as you know that. So you gotta wait. So you know what? Before we get in this, I'm gonna go for a break because I know what you're gonna share about. I don't want to interrupt it.
Sure.
So what we're gonna do, family, we're gonna go for a quick little break, and then we come back. David's gonna go in. All right, David's gonna go. He's gonna go in. Actually, when we come back, I want to share something with him before we go in deep. So keep it locked, family. We're gonna be back in about 90 seconds, and then David is going to go in. Are you ready to go in with David? Wow, that sounds like a series. Going in with David.
Right. Yes.
All right. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Keep it locked.
And that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harriet Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harriet Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like, I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. Now, really, the rappers get all the attention. You know, seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Like the twerkers and the, just people that, don't always represent the best of us, the diversity, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like, everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
Really
Vibe he's trying to do good work for Black people.
Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Bob is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. You know, helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Bob is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Bob show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
All right. Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins, supporters of the Dr. Vibe Show, also I'm big supporters of them. And David, few things actually. I did a conversation in the last 2 weeks or so. Dr. Alicia was talking about the Black family and trauma, and it looks like it's going to be a multi-part series because you and her could give so many different perspectives. We spent an hour just talking about historical perspective of trauma and the Black family. Amazing conversation. If you want to check it out, do it. Also, I'm going to encourage you, David, and anyone else who's watching live on the replay here, follow Dr. Alicia Watkins, Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Also, they have a channel on YouTube called Pillow Talk, where her and Dr. Boyce, they basically a lot of times lay on their pillows and just talk. Last night, they did a show called Embracing the Darkness, a journey into the shadow self. Was really, really, really good. And so I'm going to shout out Dr. Alicia and Dr. Boyce, you know, especially if you're wanting to know about psychotherapy from a Black lens. This gentleman and Dr. Alicia, check them out, whatever they do. So, and David, I'm still trying to get her on the platform with you. And also I don't know if I've sent links of the conversations that we've done, but I will make sure I do that sooner rather than later. Okay.
Let's make it happen.
Excellent.
All right, let's make it happen. And just a few more comments so we get back here. Let's see. I think we're good. Yeah, I've got some, we can say some things later. So David, the mic is yours, and also Instagram Live is yours. So it's time to go in with David. The gate's open. Go for it, David.
Fantastic. So let me just break it down a little bit. I'm a person who's interested in how we can resolve this thing that's called racial trauma. I noticed too that, of course, there's a taboo about us as Black people going to therapy. It's lessened a little bit because of the incidents relating to racial justice protests, where we realize that these social events definitely have a role on our mental health. I think a lot of people did, from all different types of communities, but there was more of a push of like Black people going to therapy and being able to treat the racial trauma that is within them. I think that that is good, but we also need to advance the types of therapies that we are giving to Black people to make it so that when they go to the therapy that they're not going to encounter, as we were talking about before, a therapist with a pointy white hat. You know, it's like, we need to make it so that, how do we make it so that our therapies are more humane? How do we make it so that our sciences even are like more, I want to say anti-racist, but especially that they are pushed in the direction of being anti-oppressive, that it's more welcoming, and also that we graduate more Black therapists and anti-racist therapists of all backgrounds, etc. So this is my focus, and my focus is that when we try to understand the trauma that Black people go through, because Black people are attacked in a specific way by the media, we then also find out ways that we can help other people as well. I spoke about it in the last show, about the binary complex trauma, where there is white supremacy, insecurity, and then Black suffering on the other end. It's just to know that the way how Black people are delegitimized in the media, the way how the police violence towards Black people is validated, is also a way how other people's experiences of suffering are also validated as well. So in being able to develop a way of helping Black people, I've developed a way of being able to help other people that have what's called complex trauma. Could I share something on the screen? Is that cool?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can share something.
Look,
Okay,
all these people are here for you. They're not here for me. I don't know if they're not you and Ryan. They're not here for me.
I didn't say that. Is that sort of like the flip side of the coin? So we're usually dealing with one side, but there's something synergetic or the synergies with those that we're up against that either benefit from how things are or are dealing with. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
So I'm talking about something a little different, but what you're saying is also very interesting, and we could spend a whole hour talking about that,
and
Ryan.
we will
You're
in the
bringing
future.
knowledge too.
Write it down.
You're bringing knowledge too. The flip side, well, the way I'll explain it in a different way is that there are some people in the society who are not associated with suffering, and then other people are associated with suffering. Whiteness itself is kind of seen as a universal and an invisible thing. So we only talk about white when Black people are around. Or like when a person says there's a psychotherapist or there's a psychologist, we just assume that it's going to be a white person. When we say that it's a Black psychotherapist or a Black psychologist, we assume that they're different from the typical one. And sometimes they can be deficient in some way, shape, or form. And what that does is it puts suffering into us as Black people, and then we internalize it. And it also makes it so that white people aren't able to look at their own faults, at their own problems that are within them, because they see themselves as universal. I can keep going because the thing is that it's beyond this though. It's beyond this. It's like some of the origins of psychotherapy were racist. If we think of even like Darwin, the guy who invented the theory of evolution and all these things, let's just say that he wasn't anti-racist. Let's just put it out there. If we think of Sigmund Freud, who invented psychoanalysis, let's just say that he wasn't anti-racist either. Okay, these are they were more into the idea of the anti-Black approach, where they believed that Black people were savage, where they believed Black people were unsophisticated. Even some of the ideas of the shadow self, okay? It's the darker version of you that's the worst part of you. You know what I mean? So it's so, like the way how I look at it though is that the only way you can have a shadow self is if there is light. And it's that we as Black people, we've been associated with the darker aspects of the society. But at the same time, we also carry that light within us. At the same time, they cut us off from the idea of who we were before enslavement took place, so that they could then dictate who we are in their story. So I'm no one's Black but myself. I'm my own Black person. And I think that when we are trying to help people to heal and recover, we need to help them to know that their Black is up to them. Their idea of being a man is up to them. Their idea of being a strong woman is up to them as well. And the reason why I use therapy for this reason is because some of these beliefs that have been installed in us are not of our choosing. They control how we identify as being Black, and then they determine our actions and our responses, so that we are going on autopilot instead of coming from a place of integrity. Dr. Vibe, did you say something?
Yeah, I just wanted, periodically, I think I'm hearing a little bit of an echo somewhere. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know. It may be from Ryan. Is either one of you working from a laptop that has speakers? So
I have speakers, but.
Yeah, my computer has speakers as well. I think it's that.
Yeah, I'm here. I just heard someone talk, and and it's very faint. I don't, and people who are listening, I don't know if you so keep on going, guys, and just people in the comments, tell me if you hear any, like a little bit of echoing in the background. I hear a little bit of it. It's not really crazy, but David, can you still hear us?
I can still hear you, and I'm going to make some changes on my end so that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so
you're good. No, I think it's with Ryan.
Ryan, you got
okay. So Ryan, take yourself off mute.
All right, test.
Okay. Yeah. All right, it's horrible, but keep on going. Sorry for the interruption. I just want.
All right. Is it better to keep on mute while David's talking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it might be. How's it now? Let me know. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
We're good. All right. We're good.
Yeah. So it's really to say that a lot of the ways how we try to resolve these issues of like trying to get people to not be racist in workplaces, or trying to get them not to be racist at the supermarket and wherever racists go. We usually will try to tell the white person, don't be racist, or don't use these types of words to describe these types of people. We'll also tell Black people, you guys should feel good. I mean, you got all this rap music that's out there. Once in a while, you have a Black movie that comes out. You guys should feel good about this. But I really believe that the problem of racism and the internalization of it is not in the part of our brain that causes decision making. It's in the part of our brain that's related to survival, which is related to the limbic system, which is related to the fight or flight or freeze responses that determine your survival. So that's why racism is implicated and associated with trauma. And if we have the technology to treat trauma, we also have the technology to treat the racism that exists within the white person and the internalization of racism that exists within the Black person. And that's what I went to go present when they invited me to talk in Kentucky at the International Society for the Study of Trauma and Dissociation. So I was a plenary speaker there, and I was speaking to a crowd full of white people, and the white people were like, oh, this makes perfect sense. They never heard of this therapy before. They never saw it before. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys today, to just show you that the things that are able to help us to heal and to recover, on the flip side of the coin of the internalization of suffering because of our imagination, the solution is also in our imagination, that every person has the ability to feel awesome for no reason. Every person has the ability to recover from suffering if they're given the proper context for it. So these ideas of what a Black person is, the ideas of what racism is and how it plays a role in our lives, these are things that can be changed, and we can overcome the madness that exists within the society that causes us to identify with these traumatic identities.
Deep. So no, and it's interesting you mentioned this. So, and I want to revert back a little back to the beginning of the conversation.
Let's go.
You have various cultural backgrounds with your clients, correct?
Yes.
How do you adapt what you do with their different cultural lenses?
Great question. It's a great question. So the answer I have is that even though many white people don't know it, they wouldn't exist were it not for Africans. That Africa is where everybody comes from. So last show we were talking about is whiteness fake, is Blackness fake, and all these things. So the reason why we were talking about that is because, we know that in the West there's this one drop rule that came out around the times of the enslavement of our ancestors that said if you have one drop of Black, you're a Black person. Doesn't matter how white your skin complexion is and all this stuff. But by that logic, if all people came from mitochondrial Eve, which was the Black woman who is the ancient mother and the common ancestor of all of us, everyone listening to this and every human who will listen to this, that means white people come from Black people. So that means by that definition, the one drop rule applies to them. And so we are their aunties, uncles, grandparents. That's what that means. So I can then use an approach that's designed based on Afrocentric principles and still help white people and still help Black people, Asian people, Middle Eastern people. So my approach is based on an understanding that how the society looks at us impacts our experience of trauma, especially how it constructs Blackness, but it also helps people who are part of the LGBTQ community of how the society constructs their identity. It also, when I went to Kentucky to speak about this, I showed data on the screen that was showing the improvements on different psychometric measures in terms of anxiety, depression, and all this. And then after I showed those improvements, I said, I used an approach to treat racial trauma. And this client, I didn't tell you, but it's a white person. This is a white woman. So So what does it mean if we're able to use an approach that's designed to help our people, and then it's able to have this universal benefit for all people? It's kind of like when civil rights happened with in the 60s. Those advances helped all people. If we help Black people, we're going to help all people. Like that's kind of the way how it is. It's that a lot of our approaches have been ignoring race, also ignoring capitalism, and also ignoring the impact of the social structure. So that's why this psychotherapy that takes into account the social structure is then going to benefit all people.
All right. Before we go any further, we got some people shouting out on Instagram, constantly _changing for me. Mr. Jamaican. There is Carlos Phoenix, long time. Van Singer, long time. Thanks for the comment, Van Singer. Vibe makes me happy. Well, from a distance. My niece has chimed in. Samanda. Nakimbe, have not heard from you in a long time. That is fantastic. Also, Scotian with the potion. Ryan likes that handle. Scotian with the potion is like bigging you up big time on the Instagram live. So I just want to say thanks. Quick question. Well, this is not for you. Don't worry. This comment here, Cassandra. The winner has not been announced. That's till the end of the show. Thank you very much. But David, when you present your methods or just some of the stuff you shared initially with us, how is the response to those who are not Black to when you first present it? Because I can see some non-Black people going, whoa, come on now.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It makes sense that they would have those types of responses because white people are not supposed to speak about race. They're not supposed to. Race is it's the boogeyman for all of whiteness. If we talk about race, then we become conscious of something that's supposed to be unconscious. So the response of the whoa, why are we talking about this, is almost what therapy is supposed to do. Okay, you were talking about the shadow self. So it's like we need to be aware of what is unconscious so that it can at least become a little bit conscious so that we can work with it. Okay, we don't need all aspects of the unconscious to be there, but we need a little glimpse of it. And so, of course, there are some white people who don't like what I'm saying, but also remember there's some Black people who don't like what I'm saying too. There's some Black people that are Black conservatives that are like, no, don't talk about race. Let's just keep our heads down and let's maintain the system and all this stuff. These are just Black people who wear white masks, or, they look as if they're Black from the outside, but it's just the way how they carry on is almost indistinguishable from like a white racist. I've encountered all types of individuals, and a lot of it is based on the fact that the status quo is comfortable, and changing is very scary because, once again, it's the unconscious that's there. We don't want to know the thing that we don't know about or that we're not comfortable about because something bad can happen. But that's, I do want to just explain though, is that because I'm a therapist and there's an overrepresentation of white people in the field, or an underrepresentation of Black people, which is really just saying that there's a whole lot of white people in our field. White people understand what I'm saying. Like the therapists that have heard me speak, there's no one who has been able to say that, well, this logic doesn't check out because I bring receipts. I'm like, this article says this. Are you going to argue with this accredited? Like, you can have a problem with me, sure. But are you going to have a problem with the science that's at the basis of your therapy also? Because the thing is, as much like I'm a scientist, so it's like I love reading. Like, look, I read about therapy, I write about therapy, and I play video games. That's my whole life, and I take care of my son. I have to care for my son, of course. Can't forget that. I just drove him to daycare.
Well, anyways. I'm glad you didn't forget that. I was going to remind you about that end part. Don't leave the most important part out, right?
Yes, but he would remind me before you because he yells when he wakes up. He's like, help me. Like, he doesn't speak English yet. So it's just, and so then I have to, he reminds me before anyone reminds me. And so I change the diapers, deal with all that stuff. And on the side, then I play my video games and write my therapy and all that stuff. So if you have receipts, you can't argue with the receipt. And so it's not, people can have a problem with what I'm saying specifically, but it's well founded and well researched. Can I continue? I have a whole
Yeah, well,
bunch
no,
to
I
say.
think
There's so much
Ryan
to
has
say.
Ryan
much
has
to
a
say.
conversation, please.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Please,
because I was curious. You did this presentation in Kentucky, and you said the majority of the audience were white psychotherapists or physicians.
99%.
So now, do you feel it's easy? It'll be easier to change the narrative in their minds, or do we need to groom and create our own psychotherapists in our community?
Fantastic.
I'm curious where you feel we should be putting most of our effort, I guess you could say.
I'm going to say both end. I'm going to say that it doesn't need to be either or. The problem in our society is the binaries that exist of saying a person is white or black, of saying that there's or as usually takes place in times of war, there's good versus evil. But I don't believe in those absolutes. I think that it's possible to help people to be anti-racist who are white. And I know a whole bunch of badass anti-racist activists who are white people. Sorry for my language. Oh my goodness. I have to remember this is the morning show. Don't want to be too explicit here. Sorry. And then there are black therapists that were just trained by a white system, and they still internalize white supremacy while they do therapy. They look like a black person, but it's no different from a white person. So it's not only about the race. It's not only about the outside color. It's really about what's in their heart. So I do think, of course, I think that it's part of the reason why I created my approach, is that I wanted to start an approach that's by us for us. That, of course, it's influenced by science and journals that are predominantly white, but the Afrocentric principles are what guides it. Is that we need to have therapy that is going to be humane. Some therapies, they seem as if they're like inhumane. Like they seem as if they're hurting the client sometimes, or that the client is re-traumatized in the session. The therapist too is freaking out. So that's why I made an approach where the therapist feels awesome and the client feels awesome. I made an approach where the client is the expert and the therapist is the person who's watching what's happening, where the client is choosing the way of being able to heal and recover, rather than it just being from the therapist's knowledge or from the research that they themselves have done. And what that means is that people don't have to suffer in therapy. And also it just means that people can laugh and have fun and also get permanent recovery. Because why not just make it a therapy that works? I don't know if people thought about this. So anyways, really to say is that we need to build our own institutions primarily. Yes. But we can do it at the same time while we help other people to get better. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, before we go any further, we're going to end off the Instagram portion of this. Scotian with the Potion had some comments saying house Negroes. And then he said, I'm a field Negro, like Malcolm X said. So Scotian with the Potion, I'm going to shut down the IG part. I'm going to encourage that you go over to the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, subscribe and catch the rest of this. But I appreciate your input on this. I appreciate you. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. So we are back, and it's got some other people there chiming in here. Earl Anderson says, truly well said.
Thank you.
And Donna Harrow says, good morning, gentlemen. Good to see you, David.
Always good to hear from you, Donna.
There you go. Ryan, do you have any more conversation pieces? Because it sounds like you got some more you want to share.
No, that was the one thing kind of ringing in my mind as a lot of times the anti-racism and DEI work is so focused on trying to change the minds of the white people that are already like putting the pressure on Black people. And it's like, should we be wasting our time with those that are set in their ways because it's so indoctrinated, instead of spending time with those that can be groomed to be the better option? So I think that's where my question was going, is like, how much effort do we put into that if people don't want to change? Like, shouldn't we be focusing somewhere else? But I do agree that parallel things can happen. And of course, if we can talk to our brothers and sisters that will see the light and be like, okay, you know, the way that we've been doing therapy or supporting Black community is not universal, it's just kind of one-sided. I'll definitely agree we have to be there too. I'll just think of that effort side,
Yeah, but I'm not a DEI person. I just need to explain
right.
that too.
I'm just saying
That's
that
not,
space. It's like they always
I get
try
you.
to change.
Yeah,
the minds
I
of
understand.
people.
I definitely 100% agree, but that's the criticism of it. The criticism is that DEI is there to, in some, it can be helpful, okay? But it's just that we can't say, please stop being racist at a company. We can't do that. That's not the way how you
and
resolve.
That's pretty much as far as it goes, and that's where it's not effective.
Exactly. So it can't work in that way because the corporations by default are based on competition, and racism is based on competition. Racism also capitalism itself. Capitalism is just the last name. The first name of it is racial. It's always racial capitalism.
Exactly.
Always capitalism.
Fully
exploitation.
Agree with that. There's a relationship.
Identity.
There's definitely a relationship between racism and money. It's a system, right? So if racism is going to be eradicated, racism is a system, right? So this is just my lens. If someone tells me, well, I don't like you because you're black, I don't really care too much about that. I want the system I'm fighting. People are the product of the system. Their thoughts are the product of a system. So that's the real thing. It's a bigger thing. Just before we go any further, because we got a question here. One thing I like, Scotian with the Potion is in the YouTube channel and he has subscribed. So that's what I'm talking about. Make a decision, take action. Yes, Scotian with the Potion gotta hail you up and share it out. Yeah, share it out with the family. Got a question here from Ray, our Monday sponsor. Good morning. Given that psychotherapy seems to be so racialized, even when the therapist is black, how do black folks find therapists from someone like, I guess, therapist or therapy from someone like yourself?
Yeah, well, that is part of the difficulty. And this is why what Ryan was saying makes a lot of sense, is that we need to increase the amount of psychotherapists that are trained. We need to make it so that there are more of us that are knowing that black men specifically, that we are healers. The society has constructed us to be the figment of a white person's imagination. So we are the rappers, as this was in the shout out, the endorsements that you got as well, is that we're told to focus on the rappers.
The shade room, etc.
Yeah, it's like that's where black men oftentimes see themselves. So then, even as a youth, for me, when I was growing up, the only time you see a black man with any form of power is if he's bouncing a ball or if he's dancing or something like that. You know what I mean?
And even then he doesn't have power because he's controlled by a lot of times someone who's paying him who is not black.
Exactly. I heard a little bit of the echo. I don't know if it's still there. But
No.
I want to just add on to what Dr. Vibe was just saying there, is that you will see the flashy black person with the chain around their neck, which is really representative of slavery. But anyways, that's another topic. We could talk about what rap music does to us as well. But anyways, the thing is that we have the bright chain around our neck. But who's really paying for the chain? It's who's paying for the entertainment. Even though it looks like it's black music, it's usually their employer is usually a white person. It's not always having the interests of black people in mind when the music is using the N-word, and it's consciously like that you're listening to a black person in conflict with another black person because they're calling each other the N-word on the record. If they were using a white racial slur, I don't even know what a white racial slur is anymore. Like that doesn't even exist, like, because we're so focused on the N-word. If they were using that in the music would be canceled immediately. Be canceled immediately. There would be no discussion about this. But we can listen to music that is saying black people must be in conflict because it maintains the status quo. It distracts us from the goals that Malcolm X had, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton. It means that we are fighting amongst ourselves. In order to find more black therapists, to answer this person's question, one is that we must create more of them. We must remind, especially black men, that we must break out of the chains that have told us that we are something different than what we actually are. We need to understand that we have always been healers. We need to understand that healing has always best happened in community with others. And we need to redefine, not even redefine, we just need to start to read again. Because I'm not the first anti-racist psychotherapist. There's so many other people have written about these things, but I feel that it's incumbent on me to fulfill what the mission of my generation. And I think that seeing that my clients are presenting, saying that this racial event happened to me, seeing that even if they're not Black, they come to me and they say that because of my identity, this experience has happened to me, that I have no choice but to be an anti-racist psychotherapist. There's no other way of being able to do good work for mental health if you're not considering the identity of the individual. So again, increasing the amount of Black therapists, yes. There are directories online that you can find. Just search for Black therapists. You could even find it sometimes on, just Google it and you're going to be able to find them, but there are still not enough of them. So whenever I try to make a referral to a Black therapist, they're all booked. And some of them are burnt out.
Just we know that you're booked. You told us on the first time that you're, and the thing is, just ask an interesting question here.
Sure.
What percentage of your clientele is Black?
I want to say that it is maybe 40%. 40%
right
of
there.
them. Okay. So 40%. I want to say 20% Middle Eastern. And then I guess there will be another, you guys are math people. I'm not a math person. That's why I went into therapy. There's another group that's white people. There's another group that's white people. And again, this is part of the population demographics.
Right.
And it's also because it's economics.
Yeah.
Is that Black people cannot necessarily afford therapy because Black people, or many Black people, don't know that there is a therapy that's actually Black. They don't know that, people don't know that what I do exists. Even white people don't even know that what I do actually is something that can happen. That's the reason why I do trainings. But it's that the economic barrier is the most significant barrier, I think. That's why mental health has to be a human right. It's for that reason. We need to start to think bigger about this problem. We can say, yes, increase the amount of Black therapists, but we need people to afford it. And so that's why if you don't address the economic issue of capitalism, we're going to get back into the same exact problem, which is what Dr. Barb is talking about.
Yeah. Follow the money.
That's it.
So, okay, we're going to go with some comments. And now since Colin's on YouTube, Scotian with a potion, he's making it happen. Puppets. He also says Malcolm X said puppets. Jokers like medieval times. Frequency Event Promotion says, keep up the great work. I look forward to hearing and seeing more of your work. Thanks for your intellect, viewpoints, and ideologies. Colin also says again, jokers were kept chained and prisoners until the kings and queens wanted them to perform and bring them to the dungeon. Ray McMillan says, interesting breakdown of the client base by demographics and percentages. Earl Anderson. Boom. Nelia. Oh, Nelia, I know who this is. Oh, I have a story for you. Okay, Nelia. Well, reach out to me, Nelia, and would love to have an offline conversation with myself, David, and yourself. That would be interesting. And Dr. Tachi is here.
Good morning.
Host
Good morning.
and producer of Mediascope, the livest online show about media, tech, and pop culture. Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Instagram Live, 6 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern, and then 6 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, and the leader of the Indie Soup Media Nation. There we go. I got it all down. David, does it the whole... Okay, I want your lens on this one.
Yes.
If the cost was there, affordable to Black men, and they knew about you, do you think that would increase the number of Black men that would come to you?
So we need to break down this question first.
I know you would.
Yeah, I can't help it.
I know
Before
that.
I was in therapy, I was a software engineer. So I need to,
I look at things from sense. Okay.
Yeah, we need to look at things from all aspects. And also we need to just, we need to break it down and define our variables. We need to initialize them. So first, it's that, yes, it would increase the amount of Black men that would come to see me. Definitely. However, Black people actually, you know, I was actually speaking to Donna about this, actually. One of the people was commenting. It's that people are saying, you got to go into therapy, you got to go into therapy. But there's not always an understanding of what type of therapy and what is therapy going to do for me. I think that some people are reluctant to go into therapy, or some people feel that they need to be in therapy just to show other people they're in therapy. Okay, that's one of the things that also annoys me as a person who gives therapy. Is like, I'll say to a person like, yo, so what's the reason why you're here? And they're like, I don't know. And it's like, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? Because the thing is, I got people that have suicidal ideation. I got people that are depressed, anxiety. I don't have time for that. So if a person is going to like, not everyone needs to go to therapy. I'm seeing a very small percentage of the population. Not everyone has the level of trauma where they need to see a professional. Not every single person. However, some of the people who need it most, I think they can't get there because of the cost, or they can't get there because of the lack of accessibility, or because they never even knew that these types of therapies exist. So would more Black men go and see me? Yes, but we also need to know what is the type of therapy that they're going to get as well. Because a person can go to therapy. So first I spoke about the motivation of the client. There's also the heart of the therapist. You can go to therapy and then you get a therapist who's racist or doesn't know what they're doing. And then after, the person can feel that therapy doesn't work for them. And so that's the reason why I work to improve the skill level of therapists at the same time. I'm not only trying to demystify therapy, I'm trying to make it that therapists as well are able to speak about difficult concepts and being able to treat people better. That's why I do these conferences and presentations and these things. So it's also that we have to know the outcome. So I think that many Black men as well are like, yo, why am I going to go to therapy? Like, you know, I don't need to change these types of things, or what's the benefit I'm going to get? And that's why I also want to let people know that these are the benefits that I have seen. Part of the reason why I do these types of presentations is because the biggest convincer of whether therapy is effective to me or for me has not been what I've read in a book. It has been what I've experienced face to face with people. I've seen too many people who were on the verge of the worst possible case scenario, and they've turned their lives around. So if I have seen that so many times, how am I supposed to just keep this message to myself? I think that there's this thing called vicarious trauma, where the trauma therapist is listening to stories of suffering too many times, and then the therapist burns out. The therapist becomes vicariously traumatized. Even though they didn't experience it, they feel it. This is common with first responders. This is why many police officers probably don't even know that they're so traumatized, so stressed out, that when they see the Black person, they're already tense when they're intervening because they haven't worked on themselves, okay? It's also that this is what makes it so that it's hard to be in these first responder positions, because everybody has a trauma history. Everyone has like experiences of suffering, but we need to treat these things and then go into the therapy session. So it's really to say that we need to work on ourselves as therapists, regardless of what our positions are, where we're going. It's true that not everyone needs therapy, but people also need to know that as much as there is vicarious trauma that exists, there's also vicarious growth. We are changed by our experiences. I have seen a lot of people heal and recover from things that are called treatment-resistant diagnoses. And that's why I want to help other people, other therapists to get these results, and also other people to know that there's hope, that everyone can recover. If we have enough creativity in the proper context, we can do things that exceed our expectations.
Wonderful. I love how you finish it on a good positive note there. There's another question coming, but more comments are coming. Nelia says, "Yep." Colin Willis says, "Facts, big facts." Colin gives me big vibes. Hey, you made a decision, took action, Colin. So I'm glad you're here. Damien. Okay, Damien says, "Good morning, everyone. Thanks for everybody stopping by. I got some more things going on." Dr. Tachi says, "It is extremely important to also consider a therapist in the equation in terms of making them better. So many people have had a bad experience, and then we paint all therapists with a broad brush."
100%.
Cassandra says, "The therapist can re-traumatize a person if they are racist or not culturally competent." Daddy Daycare Forever says, "The line of the day from David, quote, Black men are the figments of white people's imagination."
Not all of them. It's just that the Black person can internalize that idea, but we are ourselves. But the white person, we don't want to become the figment of a white person's imagination is what I'm trying to, I want to make sure, because you put quotations, and I told you I'm an academic writer, so it sounds like a direct quote. I hope I didn't say that. But anyways, thank you for bringing that up, so I could correct it. Do you guys have any, were there any other questions or clarifications?
Well, hold on, I'm putting comments up from the family here. They're more important than me and us. So Nelia says, yeah, an intense trauma and addiction program costs $69,000.
It's true.
Those who need it the most are those who can't afford it.
It's true.
Yeah. And then, wow, please speak more on vicarious growth. Interesting new concept to me. We're not asking questions. They're asking the questions. Go ahead, David.
True. The addiction program thing is true. That is true. I remember, because I've worked in many different contexts. So I was trying to get someone who had multiple mental health issues and also severe addiction issues. Wow. I want to also explain that the only reason, if we think about addiction, the person is taking medicine. The only reason why they're taking medicine is because they're hurting. So some addictions approaches are focusing on the behavior, but we need to focus on the trauma. We need to focus on the hurt that underlies the use of the medicine. So the logic of the addiction, of course, outside of it, you're going to be like, why is this person doing these drugs? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And I used to think about things in those ways as well. But I think it was helpful for me to hear about people like Gabor Mate, who talks about trauma and talks about how it exists within the society. That helped me to know that maybe we need to focus on the pain and the suffering that underlies the behavior. And when we treat the trauma and the behavior at the same time, we get better outcomes with addictions. But to bring it back, that person, the client that I did have, they were only able to get into that treatment center after I, who had more power and privilege as a therapist, social worker, all of that working in the system, was able to advocate on their behalf. That brings it back to what I'm explaining, is that the people who need the most help, they need advocacy. They need people that are in positions of power that can make it happen, but they also need that financial part. So it's not very successful in our society if we say that only rich people can go and get the therapy that they need. It doesn't mean that we are fulfilling what we need to do. I think there is not enough therapists. I think that there needs to be that improvement there, but we also need to recognize that financial barrier. The question about vicarious growth. Oh, sorry. And that last point, that could only be done by making mental health a human right. The question about the vicarious growth thing. This is not something that I developed. There's a lot of research that's on it, but it's really, I'll just break it down in this way. Many of us do not need to go to see therapists. Not everybody needs it. Some people who are severely traumatized need it. The reason why is because the way how the trauma is encoded in their mind makes it so that they need a specific approach to turn back on that natural ability to heal and adapt that all people have. And I'll speak about it in this way. Sometimes I'll be working with someone and talking to them, and we'll talk about something that has been bothering them. And then the next week, they'll come back and I'll say, yo, what about this thing? And then they'll say, what thing? I'll say, well, you're talking about this thing that was bothering you. They'll say, I don't know, but I went to go and watch like a Black Panther movie and I forgot about it. And I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. because I didn't include that as one of my interventions in the session. And then I'll be scratching my head. What is it? What happened? How did they make this change? And just to know that this is the natural way how all of us change. We change through experiences. We change by disconfirming experiences. This is why when your parents would tell you, like, just go for a walk, or like take a, like if there's something's bothering you, sleep on it, you would wake up and you'd feel a little bit different about the thing. It could be because when you're going for a walk, you might be seeing nature. You might be getting a breath of fresh air. It could be that when you're dreaming, you're getting a dream and you're seeing images, maybe a lucid dream, you're flying, or like, I don't know, eating your favorite meals. I don't know. I'm telling a lot about my dreams, I guess, but but this is what I assume other people dream about, because I dream about all types of interesting stuff. And then when you wake up, you feel different. And why? It's because your brain experienced something that was different. And the way how I help people using the rhythm and processing technique is by letting they access the problem. They expect that they're going to feel a way in their body, and then they feel something different because we present something different. The thing that I will usually present will be, so in my sessions, there's going to be music. There could be dancing. There could be like Japanese anime. It's anything that's going to make a person feel very different. And maybe they could feel either calm, awesome, neutral, but it's something that is so different from what the brain expects when they access the trauma that we reconsolidate and change the way how the memory is stored forever. Memory reconsolidation is at the basis of what causes these types of changes. The person recalls something, we destabilize, and then after we verify once again, to see what's going on, and then that leads to a re-encoding of the memory. When we do this process, and we do it well, and we do it when the person is adequately prepared, and we make sure that it's a good context, they feel all right in the session, the alliance is built, then miracles become a regular occurrence. And we redefine what a miracle is. We start to then realize that this is the purpose of why the person came to meet with us in the first place. Instead of us thinking that the miracle is of divine order, we recognize there's a divinity in all of us. Every single person who's listening to this, and me, myself, everyone who's on the podcast, all of us have this ability to heal and to create these beautiful experiences.
Okay.
And so when you see this enough, instead of vicarious trauma, it leads to vicarious growth. You yourself change when you see people heal and recover. It changes your idea of what healing and recovering means.
All right. We're gonna start winding down, but there's at least one more question we want to get you to answer here. Frequency of event promotions. I'll probably ask David that offline, but Fitness IQ Cam says, how do we guide our Black girls and boys into the career of therapy? Because you mentioned it lightly throughout your conversation. How can we get them there? Because I only know of only one Black man that is going that career path right now.
Yeah. We need to reclaim our culture. That's what we need to do. And I can't tell you how you can do it. I can only tell you how I intend to do it. And so I'm writing books, of course, for the academics. My first book is Anti-Racist Psychotherapy. It's the philosophy of understanding understanding racism, specifically anti-Black racism, from a trauma-informed lens. It talks about EMDR therapy, which one day we'll talk about.
Yes.
One day.
EMDR. We're getting there.
Yeah. Then my second book is Black Meditation, which is talking about how people can access these skills and techniques and these tools to feel calm in their body, but understanding that Black people did not originate with this traumatic story of the colonization and destruction that Canada and the United States put on the Indigenous people. So we break ourselves out of that narrative, and we understand we are much greater than that with our meditations. Racial trauma recovery is an explanation of how to use the approach that I just explained, which is for therapists. So it's more of like a technical manual. The fourth book is Black Mountain, Fight for the Future, which I actually have the hardcover right here. And this book is designed to make it so that people who are interested in a coming of age novel where there are people who are melanated that are oppressed, fighting against an interplanetary fascist government, are able to heal their trauma and recognize their powers through indigenous ceremonies that are given to them. And so it's everything that I loved about my previous 3 books, including my love of anime, my love of like revolutionary thought, and being able to make it so that the ideas are not always just academic, that it can also be for people who are interested in a story that's like a movie or something. And then my 5th book is to make it so that my previous books are digestible, that you'll understand exactly what it is that I'm trying to do, is called Transforming Complex Trauma. I'm going to share on the screen what it is. So this one is a nice little book, but it's Transforming Complex Trauma, Reflections on Anti-Racist Psychotherapy. And so this book is meant to just explain in simple terms the ideas I spoke about in this podcast, and also to just make it so that we inspire hope of knowing we can heal these things, but we need to transform our understanding of it.
Okay.
So that's what I do, but I can't tell you what you got to do. Yeah.
All right. I know, Ryan, you got to go soon, so we're going to do real quick rapid fire questions. There's about 2 or 3 more questions. First of all, Frequency Event Promotions asks, if you were to plan a focus event, he's always looking at events. Any focus event to help lift oneself, what would that look like?
I think it would involve not only an understanding at the level of the intellect, but also at the heart. So after giving a presentation for the International Society, there was a corporation that heard about me, and they're like, we got to fly you down to Arizona. So I went down to Arizona a few months ago, ran into a cactus, which I guess is a story for another time. But in their workshop, they wanted me to explain how to help their staff to reduce microaggressions, because they had a problem with racial microaggressions. I realized that going into a room full of white people, there's a chance that there might be, and in the southern states, it's like, is it going to be all right? It ended up being fantastic. So the reason why is because there's an intellect portion, but also a body portion. We need people to feel that there's an understanding that's scientifically based, and also that they can feel awesome in the body. So I don't only give interventions that are verbal and just by PowerPoint, but I also do guided meditations and other like approaches that help people to digest the information without getting into the fight or flight experience at the same time.
Okay, and that will be coming up on next month's conversation, some of that.
Yes.
So, and Ryan, be ready for that ahead of time, and we got to log in early. Yeah. All right, so Colin says, I'm in Toronto. Can you guys do an event? We'll talk about that. Dr. Tachi, need a quick answer from this one. I've heard a number of younger Black women expressing that they have anxiety. Is something happening to increase this, or do you think there's an anxiety that's always been there and not been named?
I'm going to say both and. It could be both. What I will say too, though, is that there's an increase in the amount of Black men, young men, that are committing suicide in the United States over the past number of decades. Dr. Rita Walker spoke about that in the Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health. And part of that, I think, is the lack of our society serving our community. So we got to change the culture from the inside. And just know that it's not in their imagination. Social media probably plays a role, et cetera, et cetera.
And that also implies of Black women too. There's an increasing number of especially young Black girls in regards to suicide too. So, Cassandra London says, I want to be a therapist. Love to connect to get direction. I've put David's contact information on the screen. It'll be up in just a moment. Frequency Event Promotions, EMDR. What is that? EP short length? No, it's not EPMD. It's EMDR. Yes. All right. Different. So we'll get that. David's going to do an episode in the near future about that, but you can Google it. EMDR, what it is. Sugaring message spalonic, good vibes. Colin says, same here now, Cassandra. At least one of my streams of income, and not just income. It makes the world a better place. I don't know what that one means. Donna says, and let's look, the people want looking at that event idea. One that makes sense is making this part of events like student conferences. Absolutely. And then Colin says, servicing others leads to greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And First Lady of ACBN, transforming our understanding and mindset is important. Very informative. Thank you, Lady Charmaine. Thanks for taking time to chime in. Hope you and the hubby are fine and safe. David, any last words? Because as usual, you've blown up the feed.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you again for having me on this podcast, on the show, actually.
Okay, I'm going to correct you. It's a show, not a podcast. Difference.
That's what I said. I said it.
All right, because you said podcast before. I don't do podcasts. I do shows.
I correct. Yeah, you told me that last time, so I definitely said show. And so thank you for the opportunity. I just want to say again is that as I am an author, my books are only relevant if there are readers for them. I would ask that you support my books. Anyone who's interested, if you'd like to contribute, the questions that you had were very informative. If you'd like to contribute to this method that I am doing, support my books, share my books at your local library. You can get it from a different book list. I think that's in Ontario.
It is in Toronto, Bathurst Street.
Fantastic. You could get my books from there, and also ask other libraries to have my books as well, because it's not a one-man show. This only happens because there are listeners. This only happens because you are here as well. And I'll just ask that as best as you can, just to remember that that you are beautiful because you are Black. You are Black because you are beautiful. Remember that regardless of your identity, that you also have that divinity, that creative genius, that infinite creativity that is part of your birthright. And it is our job to reclaim our identity, and also to be proud of it and to embrace it as well. You can find my books on Amazon. Website is archertherapy.com. Many blessings. Peace.
I love that. You're beautiful because you're Black. You're Black because you're beautiful, and you're beautiful because you're Black. I love that. That's a mic drop right there.
Got these quotables, bro. I got these quotables.
That's all right. Frequency Event Promotions, Dr. Vibe and Knight, and The Voice. Great show. The Voice. Okay. All right. Hayden has another topic saying at some point can we talk about the impact of COVID lockdown?
That's part of it.
Okay. Right. Colin says, great show. Colin says, I'm going to get your books. So Colin,
thank you.
When next time you come on, I'm going to ask, have you bought the books yet? And then Frequency Event Promotion says, facts with taxes. All right. All right. Oh, Dr. Tachi says, wonderful as usual. David, I know you got a lot of things to do. Thanks for taking the time. We're definitely going to talk offline, and we're going to start working, family, and getting The Voice as part of an intro.
Love it.
Many blessings, all right, man. Much love.
Take care, David. Be well. Keep the faith. Remember to give yourself grace, and don't just manage your time. Manage your energy.
100%. Take care.
And all the 100% to your son too.
Of course. 120.
Oh,
150. Math.
150. Bye. Okay. All right, everybody. That was another epic conversation. And you notice, family, with people like David, we just let them run. We don't do like traditional asking every 30 seconds. Let him get the point out so you benefit.
Absolutely.
You benefit. Ryan, you got a giveaway. Go for it.
Absolutely. Let me see if I can share my screen properly.
And how are you going to do this giveaway?
So our platform is called
Okay, I see. Okay.
King Sumo. Can you see it?
Somewhat. You need to. Well, I can somewhat read. The font is really small. The lettering is really small.
Oh.
Okay.
Is that better?
Okay, that's better. Yeah. Yep. Good. We got it.
All right. So our most engaged contest yet. 121 entrants, 1,700 entries. So one thing to remember. So this is actually stage 1 of the competition. So we're giving away $500 right now, but everybody that's already joined in, you're going to get an email saying, we would like to hear about your business. So from those that send a video about how you would use $500, we're going to be giving away another $500. So this is the first random giveaway. We're going to click the button and then draw the winner. And this winner, you have 24 hours to claim your prize. So if we draw your name,
that means you got to watch the show, family. If you're not watching the show, you're gonna have to, and they'll have to watch the whole. Very smart, Ryan, doing it at the end because they got to watch the whole show. Very well done.
So we're gonna draw it. You're gonna get the email. It says, "Hey, you won. You have 24 hours." So let's see. It is Blessing Kenor
at Gmail.
Congratulations. You had a 2% chance of winning, and you won. So
what?
You are going to get an email saying, congratulations, you won $500. If you're watching right now, definitely put into the comments. If not, you have 24 hours to claim your prize. Otherwise, we are going to redraw. So by Friday, we're going to do another draw. If this person hasn't claimed it, we're going to redraw at the end of the show. All right. Wow. So congratulations.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for doing the giveaway on the show this morning. That is amazing, and a nice little piece of software there.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. I've been using it, just testing it out. I like it.
Yeah, we can talk about it offline. That is fantastic. So
yes,
we had so much today. David dropping knowledge bombs, people coming in like crazy today. Like, thank you. That was really, really good today. Thanks for making another epic conversation. So some things that we got to do. I'm going to put on the bottom where you can watch replays, the Dr. Vibe Show, Facebook and YouTube. Afro-Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, Ryan Oneil Knight, YouTube and LinkedIn. So some things coming up. Someone asked, Colin, you wanted, there's his contact information again. David at archertherapy.com. Now, remember, you heard him say right now he's fully booked. Wonder why.
Get in the queue.
Get in the queue. And there's his website. Now, a few things. Coming up, if you're watching this live in about an hour and a half, I am doing a conversation with Kamal Kara, who is the Canadian Minister of Diversity, Inclusion, and Persons with Disabilities. So if you're following Dr. Vibe anywhere, you will see that conversation come about an hour and a half. Coming up on Friday's show, it's the first Friday of a new month. Guess who's back? Wayne Harris, and he's going to be talking about hot topics in personal finance, more about living benefits, prostate cancer, his story, and that's very relevant because November is called Movember, the Movember organization, in regards to raising funds, and you'll see maybe some men with not shaving. That's one of the key big things for prostate cancer. Wayne had prostate cancer about 17 years ago.
Wow.
And so he's going to share, and he's a survivor. So he'll share some of his story. And do you know your investment risk profile? So that is a lot going to be cooking on Friday. A lot going on. So Ryan, what's up for you for the rest of the week?
Well, today the Toronto Small Business Forum is happening, so we're gonna stop by and check it out.
Where's that going on?
At the Metro Toronto Convention Center.
You're going down with the lovely weather.
Downtown. I know. And so the detailing appointments got canceled today because of the weather.
So
later in the week. But yeah, other than that, keeping, I would say, a pretty light week. We're going to be reaching out to those that joined the competition that I just did the giveaway for, so that we can hear more about their business and then be able to award a bit more grant money, because $500 can make a difference. I know it's not big money just yet, but we can definitely flip that 500 to make more. So that's going to be the next question. How would you use $500 to make more money in your business? So stay tuned for that one.
Also, Colin Willis is going, what event? So what's that event you're talking about today?
Yes, the Toronto Small Business Forum, which is part of the Toronto Enterprise Center. They're doing this event downtown at the Metro Toronto Convention Center.
Excellent. Roger, I will get this suggestion to Wayne. We need to get some info on how to set up a living trust from Wayne. So I'm going to put that I'm going to put that on my digital notebook.
Mm-hmm.
So Wayne talks about that on Friday, a living trust from Wayne to Roger. Okay, that will get done. All right. Thank you for the suggestion from Wayne. Yes, that's going to happen. Great. Okay. And Con goes, what, today? Yes, that event is today.
All day.
All right. All day, all day, all day. So that's it, family. Another epic conversation on the Morning Vibe. Thanks, everyone. And again, if you're not following, please follow. So subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, especially, and hit the notification button. Also follow the Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And also follow Ryan, because Ryan's all over the place. If you follow him, especially on social media, because I have a feeling he'll be doing an IG live from this event this afternoon, today. Also, to advertise your business, product, or service on the show, please email me, dr@vibeshow.com. And again, we keep the conversation going. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. And I'm doing a lot of things there. When other people are putting some stuff there, also putting links to the replays also there. So you don't have to search all the way through YouTube. Get the link if you join the Discord group, and you can express things as always. That's it. So, there's some more comments quick, and then we get out of here. Look at this. Colin Willis, I'm starting my business just this week. Whoa, manifesting that. Maybe you should get in touch with Ryan.
Excellent.
He's the business. He's the business. And look at this, Colin. I'm getting ready now and dressing up. So he's going to this event.
Hey, they'll love you. They'll love you there.
Maybe if you follow Ryan on Instagram, maybe you could meet down there.
Nice.
And then putting on my slacks and Stacey Adams element. Let's go. High energy. I like that. High energy, high income.
Boom.
Love that. High
There's
energy.
some nice quote gems today.
Really. And you know what? Just before we leave, sometimes people want me a lot more now because of my energy. Energy is important, family.
Yes.
Very important. And you don't have to have high energy all the time. You just need to have high energy at the right time.
True.
On that fact, again, thanks everybody. Have a good week, or in between. If you're following me, there's a number of conversations today going forward, etc., etc. So live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher and wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. I need a break. I got another conversation on 12 o'clock. I need a break. I'm going to go have some more chia seed pudding. Bye.